with Pontiac,
Okay.
without a doubt. And right now with Pontiac, people like concerned, well, what about my warranty? You know,
Right, right.
General Motors is still here. General
Right.
Motors is going to be here, and General Motors is going to back the warranty. As a matter of fact, the president even came on here about a month ago and says they will back, the government will back the warranties
Well, that's good.
if need be. So it's a great time
Great
to
time
buy,
to buy a car.
Pontiac. Yes,
buy Pontiac,
absolutely.
exactly. With that, what are you doing to try to gain new business, attract new customers to your dealership?
Well, that's always that's a everyday situation. You're always looking at new ways of doing things. The Leathermans, who own the dealership, you know, they have been a big part of the community and have been gracious and what have you. And we do the same thing there. We, with our normal advertising of newspaper, we do a lot with the internet now. The internet has been
Exactly.
huge. Our website, we maintain our website. We keep it up to date. Try to keep it informative. Give the customer and the consumer as much information as possible.
Right.
Make things easy
Right.
for them. But we try to do things. Try to stay things locally. We were active in probably no less than 75 community events, donations, things like that with the schools, with the cities, and what have you. And so we try to, we develop those relationships,
Okay.
and it's more relationship selling than just
Selling a car.
selling car. Yes.
Well, and I noticed
absolutely.
on your website that you do have a lot of information and details on your thoughts about GM and just information that you are providing for the consumer to kind of answer a lot of the questions that you're trying to answer today, and really a lot more detailed information if they wanted to go there and take a look. So they can find that online at premierpontiac.com. But with that information, what do you see happening in the market with the closing of Chrysler stores and the eventual closing of GM stores? How do you see that affecting the big picture?
Well, it's unfortunate with you know, the closing of all these stores. It's as far as the dealerships that are going to remain, it's going to be obviously better for them. As far as you got less competition. Unfortunately, you know, dealerships throughout the country have been very, very active in their community.
Yes.
And it's a shame that, you know,
Right.
that in some cases they're going to lose
Part of that.
participation from those dealerships. A number of them, though, however, aren't necessarily going to go away.
Right.
They're going to, you know, I've talked to a number of people that are going to, they're going to stay there. They'll sell, you know, they'll be an independent used car
Okay.
operation. They'll
Okay.
still maintain their service departments.
Okay.
A lot of them don't plan on leaving.
Okay.
And so they'll still be a part
A dealership there, just to
of-
be a
of the
different way of doing business.
Exactly. And some of them would, you know, depending on what's available, you know, may look at a different franchise availabilities for themselves and what have you, provided they've got the facilities that can handle it, and the next franchisor would accept them.
Okay.
But
Do you, as far as the whole talk of bankruptcy and GM going bankrupt, do you see that happening? The big question.
that's interesting. There's obviously that possibility. No one is saying for sure. I know yesterday that apparently there was a tentative agreement with the UAW and General Motors as far as coming to an agreement. They still have a question out there with the bondholders and how that's going to take effect. The other thing is with these 1,100 dealers getting their letters and that of their unlikeliness of not being a dealer, there's some litigation going on
Okay.
with
I
that.
bet.
So, and that's the thing too. These dealers aren't going to go, you know, because there are 1,100 dealers out, that letters got sent. They're not going to go out of business. They're not going to be out there tomorrow.
Right.
I mean, this is a year
A
and a half.
process.
This is exactly a process. Now, that all being said, Will bankruptcy make everything easier? Like in the case with Chrysler? Possibility. They still got agreements, like I said, with the bondholders and what have you, but another week or so will probably, the 1st of June will determine
more of
how
the
we are,
details.
but it'll just be an interesting 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Just
2
to see
weeks.
what happens, but it would, generally speaking, it would probably make it a lot easier for them to get everything done
All righty.
by doing it that way.
What do you see new from GMAC or for GMAC from General Motors to enhance that brand for yours?
Oh, you mean the GMC trucks?
The GMC brand,
Well, right now there's not a lot. We got a new train coming out, a new SUV.
Okay.
This is a case where we had the Pontiac Torrent, and they discontinued the Pontiac Torrent, but they gave it to GMC. So here's an example where we had one Pontiac product, now that went over to
Okay.
GMC.
Okay.
It's just coming out here in the next couple, 3 months. It's a beautiful, sharp SUV, and we'll see more of those type of situations as time goes on to boost the GMC franchise.
Okay. Looking at all of this from the customer's perspective, everything with the auto industry right now, how do you see that impacting the customer, and what would be some of the benefits to them, or maybe some things that they should think about doing or not doing as far as buying a car right now?
Well, Jamie, it's a difficult time for everybody.
Absolutely.
I mean, these are historic times. These are historic times for our industry. It's historic times for the dealers. Historic times for the consumer.
Right.
Everybody has questions. One of the things with Chrysler, with GM, they're not going to go away. So Chrysler and GM are going to be here. Are they going to be here in a different form? Yes, they are. From the consumer's point of view, for instance, if they are in the market to purchase a car, just purchase it. You know, go ahead and do that.
And I'm thinking the timing couldn't be better.
The timing right now is excellent with everything that's going on. In 2 ways, with the Chryslers, there's some deals out there, and the same thing with GM. There's some serious deals happening out there. And right this second, versus come summer or getting towards the fall, a lot of manufacturers are shutting plants down throughout the summer.
Right.
There's going to be less. So as time goes on,
That's what I was going to ask about
going to
inventory.
be
If there's concerns
are
about inventory.
big time concern about inventory. Right now, there's right now inventories are okay, but as we get through the summer,
And
they're not
inventories are
gonna-
depleted.
Inventories are going to be tough.
Yeah.
And right now in the used car market, even you may see a lot of cars out there, but a lot of them are 100,000-mile cars.
Right.
But a nice low mileage used car,
Harder to come by.
very hard to come by.
Okay.
And the market the prices are adjusting upwards,
go
and
up.
as we get into the summer
Right.
and get through the summer market, it'll probably go more because there's going to be less.
Less.
Used cars, there's going to be less of
Right.
everything. So
And less new
actually right
cars.
now-
If the manufacturers, like you said, are
You know,
shutting down
right now.
and decreasing their production, then that's going to affect the inventory and drive the prices up then later down.
Yes, you
the
go
road.
back a few years ago, there were 17 million cars sold in the United States. This year, their projections at the beginning of the year were 10 million.
Wow.
I mean,
Yeah.
the manufacturers themselves, and it's not General Motors or Chrysler, I mean, that includes Ford, Honda, Toyota, all of them, I mean, and they've all decreased production. And that was their forecast at the beginning of the year. Now they're reforecast, they keep changing, and now we're down under 9 million.
Right.
So we, as an industry, we're about 50% we were in production of new vehicles compared to 2 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's a big difference.
It's drastic.
Very big.
Yeah,
Very big.
at this moment. So.